All right, so Yansha here with this particular news. Boba Mahama is really taking defense very seriously in this particular country. I don't know if it is because of the recent attacks at Elkoso, any coup d'etat attacks at Elkoso in various West African countries. You all saw what happened recently. In Guinea-Bissau, the president and the government there was toppled and overthrown. We don't know if because of this, Mahama preparing for a future occurrence like this in the country. Now, one of the things you also have to notice that when this issue happened, Mahama was one of the first people to actually come out and say, coup d'etat is see Guinea-Bissau no. He and his government of Ghana, they are not in line with this. Now, someone passed the comment, said, Mahama, you, when you were in opposition, you loved and gravitated towards people like the likes of Ibrahim Traore, the Mali president, the Gabon you see Mahama actually like he likes them, their energy. Obisuka said because of this same energy, Mahama invited someone like Ibrahim Traore and people who are in power now because they use coup d'etat to get in power. He invited them to come to his inauguration earlier this year. It's an day. I didn't could tell see any day. Guinea-Bissau, all of a sudden they will see you are not in line with this, you don't support this, and you want the country to return back to civilian rule. Well, that particular government, they did not respond to you. But then today something happened because our president of Ghana, he's taking security very serious. Recently, an information about say Ghana, and as we are appending our defense in this particular country. Now, so our defense now we are appending in this particular country, the military aircraft for airba. In 2009, finance minister at forcing already budgets in there was a Ghana pick two biggest and also most expensive military aircraft Ghana. Why we don't know. But now first batch of that which was implemented earlier in this year's budget and this has to be with serious very strong armor cars. No minim armor cars armor cars fully bulletproof to bomb obetu wiase etu bia entimi enrem, and today it came na ebaye no Mahama ankasa kwa rem and our drive a car no you go show video no in a bit, but then let me explain what this car two car way. So because car ni din kra no tia this tells you say this particular administration they are not really joking with a year your friend is saying their security to Jimia ombesiao Saka ya abe your friend deadly armored Cobra for a year bulletproof vehicle. Tiedini ye armored Cobra 4. Wa unim abua Cobra. I say Cobra is one of the deadliest venomous snakes in the whole world. Okawa actually 30 seconds to 1 minute. Ubebu. Saka we and that's your Cobra 4, the latest in the whole wide world. Mema mekasa enye yen share this particular video. When we come back, we will dive more into the details because minority esu. Why is minority not happy about this particular car? And also your baba car, your bebo modian ediemu inchrimu edem abrem. But before then, yen share this particular video, your baba car.
Yeah, he will move. The door, hold the door. You can't go unless he goes back. Watch it. Nobody should be on the red carpet at all. Thank you.
All right. So what you just watched was Mahama driving the latest Cobra 4 car, bulletproof, fully bulletproof. Now, my example, and a brief history about this car. Yeah, two glass no share glass now protecting Mahama no. Sa glass no a tattoo be 10, which means bomb. It will be anywhere I see a bit then I penetrate that particular car no. And we are learning say that car when it came in various quantities. We are talking about over 100 pieces. Now one hint we got last week, a bro will be leaking video and a bro do reports on air patch say this car is actually going to help Nimos. Sa eye ekuna Mahama at apa almost say omonye de omon fight galamsey no. Mahama is directing say significant portion of this car should go towards Nimos. Now one other argument I hear is Excellency John Dramani Mahama na o making it say you see Nimos from omoko galamsey sites now. Most of these people at the various galamsey sites they have pump action guns. Omonye ntokitwa no more because ejuma na omo mu uska. They have normal AK-47 and also they have dynamites. They are the blasting bonnet me bombing here man enubi, and also they have the men. It's the police for ne kohwa immediately kofonu show up na kwa said they are outnumbered. Immediately the people show up na kamia kwa said people the police people and the Nimos people are outnumbered. So what do? They retreat. But with this particular vehicle no uto pump action gun na enka omo inti ndro for no ne galam say for na maji ndro a ye bomutu a enkomumu no sisi ano police for na ka say ye de enkoji etu. We will arm ourselves. Yes, we will arm ourselves in such a way say be arm yourself in such a way say ye be what can be mu a ubo etu a enye den enka ye, and we believe that this will significantly help the people and as ye nuano mu a omoye na omo Nimos mu together with the Ghana Police Service and also to stop any future plotted coup d'etat will be obey na so topple this government which have been voted in massively by the Ghanaian people. No, you will be met with full force and rigor of the Ghana Police and also the Ghana Army. No one will sit there for anyone to fool in this particular country. Now, in this same vein, no, one person on the believes that everything Mahama is doing and ya idea why ya idea Dennis Miracles Abuaje Baumia spokesperson. Now he's saying that 1 year down the line, Mahama promised us of resets. Mahama promised us of what? Changing the country. New agenda. But a net Ghana for a bread. Me no kasi the dollar is going back to 12 cedis. Me no kasi things in town are still up. Me no kasi Niema and Kuye teachers have not received their salaries. And Dennis Miracle Abuaji saying Mahama, any serious president in Mahama's position will have resigned. Any serious president will have resigned. May fairly Ghana for now. Why handing over? Perhaps I'm about Baumia. Dennis Miracles or the Tuja. When we come back, we will continue with this particular update.
We can now deal with the main issue.
Yes, I'll go to the zipline issue. But before then, Obi, it's sad.
And then
Bobo said we are saddled with such a clueless government. Say. You've been asked a specific pointed question. Say 12 months in your babemu. Chedi away. Wankaba. Na Mahama Bekobi. Oh, please don't. I beg you. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do. You can't do that. You want to get your chance, you can speak.
No, you
want to get your chance, you can speak. Oh, double say. Please. Wait. When you get your turn, Obi, for 30 minutes, the government in power, rep or host you couldn't tell the people of this country say, "Yeba bemu 12 months." Sini ya yasasa bravo. Ekufadu say. Mahama is the hope. Mahama is say. Unfortunately, we have to bear this. Unfortunately, we have to endure this pain of cluelessness. We have no choice because democracy area my hono and these guys they have nothing to offer us. And they are living in a world of their own. Obi, 2024 is not the first time we talk about. It is a me who NDC needs studio no and now Mahama beko 10 no mo yemsre. Okay 2017. MPP near NDC egu. In fact 2020 now nobody does a munya de kufa de friend say status. Into on no but you see the serious issues will still be discussed. The country will still discuss the serious issues. The fact of the matter is that in 12 months you have nothing to show. That is the truth. You had 30 minutes, you still couldn't point to any specific thing.
No 30 minutes.
When you're saying
10-15.
You had 10-15 minutes. You couldn't point to anything you have done. 12 months. Obi, you are 48 months. Oh, don't do that, honorable. Yes, sir. Also, we have to show another. I sat here for you to talk like the way you talk.
No.
Didn't I sit here for you to talk like the way you talk?
No, me my own twisting.
Didn't I sit here to listen to you?
Let me settle this. Let me settle this.
Make it look like he asked me a question and I dodged.
No, let me settle this. Hold on.
But you happen. Maybe tell guy say my desperate no. You try desperate to him. He should keep quiet and listen to me.
Okay, that's fine.
He is in government. He should keep quiet. Sit down and listen to me. Please endure whatever I have to say. The same way I will not. I will not go. Me quarter I was me here ready make home. Me come asem. Please. Me part time no so you free. Honorable Address, I will not tell me what to say. Abaya yede wa betia akonya so ato abama wa ye wo no wa be ka de awoba o so ba ya man wa ba 12 months e bisa o untumi ye hwe when you 10 minutes untumi anka hwe what na auto we if they say Dodges Mahama is the whole any ebedi Mahama is the whole you the school fees
and you hope
Mahama is the whole no obi you the school fees and let the club move from 5 to 7 cities Mahama is the whole you the todo kono Encofon to me to light bill. Omo muda kiosk mu now 200 cedis for the light bill and now oba betu 128 Ghana cedis. We say Mahama is the whole. We say Mahama is the whole. What you say petritem. Obi, you what promo Ghana from 35. You see me by no my calm. Me pese me we but you see you are in government keep quiet. Listen to me. You are supposed to listen to me. We were juma no be to me ama. You dey buy see can be bia shawonsa. Keep quiet and listen to me. Obi mo ka say me cho he. Obi there are serious issues. Next for the teacher for tifie. Me no ka say na say next for your demonstration. Omo kura John Mahama his excellency voice no mo boy. Omo say when I come the one me to say when I come I will do automatic debe place. I say hey what you say Mahama is the whole. Omo twen. Obi I'm telling you for ballot box. Ekosi nursing training college be an teacher training college NDC benya 0. Yes. Because you've lied to them. Obi, there are over 35,000 young Ghanaians now obey Jumama. Oba Bemo Apamono. We say Mahama is the whole. What you have to Mahama is the whole. When you have nothing to show, the Ghanaian young person now can say what tiptoe lane. I will catch you and say Oba all the 24-hour economy beba no nyebia no. 24-hour economy no. Untuminya, you haven't even been able to come up with how you do it. We say Mahama is the whole. What a joke. Absolute complete joke. Clueless government and we are saddled with. You are here talking about the Kufado that is home and retired. Yet the Juma was a year was a Kufado. What about what to come here 28% was a Kufado? In so broke so you to me to so crown Franka Benku. In so broke a cost over 15% was a Kufado. What the tax me no can say in the next few months and the NHI tariff Mumbetum was Mahama is the whole Sabato never say babium. Who is gonna for Jimmy home? Sabe. Sabe. Who is gonna for Jimmy? Or mine your Tomamo. Your Tomamo. And the Kufado by no movie has be setting up Tower Korea and Disney. Or your fugitive. Or look at your dinner summer year and Disney, your dinner summer year caught a really a judge or the South America. Mobile Macofanaba. And this form war a friend say court I be myself. Mobile man filing no list press car. Ever is a no day.
Prosecute.
No only prosecute say Moja Mamunko. Obi, all of these things beside the point. Fix the issues. Your NDC functionaries, executives, any government officials engage in Galamsey essays will fix it. Otiasa Mahama is the whole. Oto no matching. You are playing. They are only minor drama. On mine obi. Only obi your content. omunya camera ne microphone say ya omo twa say de beto omo so ne twam no my content. We have serious issues, Obi, serious bread and butter issues. You had the whole year to prepare students to go and write what's it. Results number the core subject says somebody co invest, I said we have to be discussing them and finding solutions to them. What's Mahama is the whole
my whole year may not be factual because exams start April, May.
What's Mahama is the whole Obi, what's Mahama is the whole. We have serious issues. So yeah, my friend is saying, is it Mays Grat who say
yeah.
There in Miana Kofa Yemiana Yenya atofo Akasha demu omu yeska omu boka what's Mahama is the whole. Why are you doing this to the people? Is it a crime for the people to exercise their democratic rights by giving you an opportunity to come and serve? 12 months, you cannot recount what you have done for the people. What's Mahama is the whole. Obi, they have nothing to tell us. Obi, a hard dream say, about a hard dream say on mine. You near bread discusses serious issues. Now, the yes and quase. Nipana and Brandon so go 2 times, almost you go 3 times. How? Nipana guys are great being like I say. Now, Mama, not you. It's not an issue of choice for them. It is an issue of law. I am feel no interpreting law. I am feel no test. I'm going to test away. You see, the confidence comes from
the right of citizens.
The confidence comes from some of the machinations they think they've done. They should try it. They should try it. I'm going to try it. They should try it. I'm going to try it. So say, or see the baby. I'm going to try it. Kakana the man go so. The little that has been given to you, no crown, 12 months, what's an hour, 10 to 15 minutes. Once you can't the all by what's the Mahama is the who? Obi and cause the plan. What do you friend no crown to change?
All right. Nti nsema eye yemia bema eye miracles abuaje edituja enono. But straight up, let's move to this because we know I say Daddy Lumba information about Betuja said the funeral no is finally scheduled to happen on 13th December 2025. Remember I said Daddy Lumba's funeral was actually scheduled on the 6th, and the whole bombshell allegations and infighting in the family between Odobroni, Akosia Sewa, Busia Painting, and a host of others. In fact, Ninian Bakra, Faustina, Ni Ernestina, almost Somo. But me no can say after the court rules both women talking about Odobroni and also Akosia Sewa, they are legible widows, no? So all of them should be given the sole right to perform the widowhood rights, no? Sound seminar and by the family believes no a full nod backing full nod by the law and a Ghana's law backing them to actually go ahead and organize the funeral because according to the law and according to some judge ne kan it was opinion and the head traditionally and legally to actually give the date out and actually plan the funeral. Now, me no can say the funeral poster abba. Funeral poster ne buy and we are seeing say Daddy Lumba, okay? The funeral poster bas, our funeral poster no media ban. It actually encompasses of all the family members and in anymore. It's this is the final funeral poster abba. Share the whole screen so you be zooming in out. Some of them trying very kitten, but share dinner wahana for starting from a song forever in our hearts. Mr. Kojo Fosu, Charles Kojo Fosu, Daddy Lumba. So that is it. And I'll share what I will say. AKA Daddy Lumba, legend musician, age 60 years. Now Asiano and here's something very much important. It's Usha Asiana and what I say now. They're actually giving us the program line out or say burial, a state assisted burial, which means say a buying any bushan for now boma or more yet. A year, son be on what the bedding, or more at the best Daddy Lumba in Union. And I'll shall say now, or say final funeral rites on the 13th. Or say burial service will happen on the 13th of December 2025 at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium, 7 a.m. to 7 a.m. A year 13th of a year. December, which happened to be next week Saturday, and on and also time on the final funeral rites and see on the 13th, and I think say at the Chien, which happened to be the 14th, and Thanksgiving. Now, one other part too, which has caught a lot of people their attention is actually the names of the widows and the children and the siblings, okay? But then siblings put the back to the widows now, and what I say now, the two widows here, Madam Akosia Sewa, and also the second name, Madam Priscilla Ofori Ata Madam Priscilla Ofuriata, aka Odobroni. So that is the widows a year. These are the two widows. Uba Siena, the children of that Lumba. It's in here, and the children of that Lumba, no, you realize that all the 12, all the 11 children of that Lumba have been actually represented well. Now, so we'll try as much as possible and get it. Or see, the first name actually mentioned Wahano, Calvin, Schindler. Ono over Germany ye edin baako ka ho Denise Lady Ama Soa Fosua ono no UK Darren K Fosu ono no Canada ye wo Charlene Amanda Fosu ono wo Germany ye wo Sierra Akosua Fosu ono so wo Germany. So the three kids of that Lumba mo Germany no ono omo na ye the kids and the children and that Lumba had with the first wife Akosua Sewa. The other abofra so ano no so ka ho your friend is saying Darren K Fosu no we K Fosu Canada. Darren K Fosu no we are learning say no mami different but no based in Canada. You are learning say say mbofra ni nyina no ono ye peni. And also no edian etato no Charles Kojo Fosu Jr. Ghana no ye that Lumba ba ko a oni Akosua oni Odobroni ewo na abofra ba ko so oni Odobroni wo Nana Ama Soa Fosu a ono so Ghana na Ohima Ofori Fosu a ono so Ghana ye wo awo ya Jemfu Fosu ono so Ghana wo Ketechie Jemfi Fosu a ono so ewo Ghana na Charles Kojo Fosu ono so Ghana. So all of these kids or more Ghana no, they are the kids that Lumba had with Odobroni. And the siblings here Madam Enesina Fosu and Madam Faustina Fosu and her nephews and so no ewo. But one other thing too, a lot of people are commenting about no the cousins no does ye pa in fact, cousins do Dawson, direct, indirect cousins Dawson. Do na ewa broche Germany, UK, US, Canada, and yes, so that is in Sema Abba. But then on the flip side too, that Lumba in Tokawe so between the wives, no, and also some family members, no. What we are learning currently is that ebusuafo no that Lumba Nembano or Maboma, what they are saying is that they are not part of all of these things which are really going on. So they are inviting people to come to that Lumba's funeral, which will happen on the 13th of December 2025. In I'll share a snippet of the video that Lumba Neba Bako Dennis Amasa Fusu no Canada. We are learning that this particular child that Lumba actually had it with someone else. No ne maame enye Akosua Sewa, ne maame so enye Odobroni. But then wakoye ba penny, the what we are learning wakoye ba penny na we say odi ejinemu na it say ana ne papa. So we are learning say no na it say Odin kolani nyina nima all parties say whatever is happening on social media is happening, but then the children just want to see their dad get laid to rest, and also they want to see Ghanaians actually pay or support them in this particular crucial phase of their lives. Tinko tin sama enyaba Denise odi that Lumba mbofra ni nyina nim odi tuja odi jatro to Ghana for him say all of these things are no Ghana for ember support the burial of that Lumba Baba Yara 13th December.
Hello, my name is Denise Lady Amasa Fosu, the eldest daughter of the late Charles Fosu, also known as Daddy Lumba. I'm here representing my entire family today. We'd like to kindly invite you to my father's funeral, which will take place on the 13th of December in Kumasi. We wish all well-wishers and mourners to join us to celebrate his life. Thank you.
I me openi yaudra make say Charles Kojo Fosu. I friend Daddy Lumba. Ne papa na say. Na enwe me dinka da adofunu nyina se emra ufiri mo na wotwe da no adofo amoba e beja me mbebo aye nyina me damu nyina se ewrani nhyiram de mbofiri wo ye hu nyina ye damu ase afi eduru bra esese ye yi no ne ekra na chikwa na nei no megina me nananum nyina na emu si adofo no nyina ye se omu nyina mra mmebo ayen Ghana man ene adofo nyina wo miamia nyina mijina me nananum nyina na emu nananum no ebinum beba beduru on the 4th a wo nam kwan so ba wo mo ani ha no wo ba na mu nyina ba be kan yen ho na mesra dofo num se wo mo mabua yen eda eye on the 13th December na ye beyi no na ye de betum empem wo Kumasi Baba Yara Sports Stadium eno na mesra dofo num ene Ghana man ene abusua nyina se wo mmra na wo mejam yen emebua yen senye be ya ye nyina betimia akura ye papa ye ni ye ba ani ye nua that the number fe wo sa eda ye on the 13th December memenda wo Kumasi Baba Yara Sports Stadium.
So that was in Sema Ayebusia no Edebetuja. We'll actually come back to that issue later. This particular week and last week has not been a good week for US President Donald Trump because of following international news. I realized that last week and a year obi eko shoot a police for a soldier for mienu a omo your friend is United States of America no more guard a White House. Now oko US omo various forms of security services here with the police, here with the marshals, here with the marines, here with the navy, here with the military, and also here will be a friend the National Guard. Now the National Guard no is more like hybrid military personnel. Michim hybrid. These are people omo eka the service personnel and as a military personnel but then they are not active. So me obia me qualify na me co training here family. I can be an active military service and I can be a military personnel if the National Guard. What you say? Me to my military personnel be able to me deploy me as a National Guard. But National Guard no. I'm called when the government needs me. Internal more like reserve military for the states. That is what we know, and that's what I've learned. Now, some National Guard in and saying maybe air course of Washington DC, crime near there. So Trump actually deployed 500 National Guard to keep the city safe. Now a move NOB drive from so far, I learned from somewhere New Jersey and no buy here. And no cheat so and no hostile attack these National Guards who were just standing there doing their job and they were not doing anything bad. They were just protecting people. Nipani cheat to no bobo mutu. In the end, no sa nipana obo to no. That person was subdued by the other National Guard or no create to any be. But a mono ena a two people. Baako ye bema ena baako ye oba. All of them are in their early 20s. Etu no eka omo sevelia. Oba baako ne bema baako. But oba ne de me no kase bewu. Because according to ni papa no, etu ni e de board no. Your friend is saying the wound no is so severe and fatal. What you say? Say ebe cause a terminal wound. Wound bia michemu ya wound bia say ye bowa and obi bow to the bullets and I say the impact in so terminal and severe, which means I can on snow, atete on snow, and I can wakuma or lungs and aye bibia at the end of the day no bibia ni we are see ye bit my head and sustain you, so you can be on life support, but ultimately even if you should come back you will not be well again. Now because of this no and Trump I can say keep the person or yes I didn't try to back down or yes I did we know of a third world country one of these third world countries no now recently Ghana and a Ghana third world country which means we are emerging but third world country and that's what happened if you Afghanistan and information so pay you can know illegal immigrants and obey US Joe Biden and allow ni in under some a friend is saying agreement between US and Afghanistan. Satamana US from withdraw from Afghanistan. One more US soldiers no na saba pan okahon and Joe Biden money green card or buy US and then obe kunkum US for. And we are also learning say bra na obo tuno na o mention Allah Akuba. No be kase nana why are you giving me all these details? What is this issue? Relax, you understand. Now, based on all of these, Trump actually handed a permanent ban to all third world countries. Now, some people actually believe that Ghana is still a third world country. We will take it. We are emerging though. But then some permanent visa ban order too. A third world country and also obia ofi third world country no o visa and now green card no we need to or some other say they should go and re-examine if you are eligible for the green card, and even if you pose a threat to the United States, its people, its citizens and its military in the overall into your best show near him and only your best disqualify if even a little criminal record. So when it came like this, people were asking, so okay, does it mean that the country Ghana, no, we are part of all of these? And I say this whole permanent visa banner Trump handed to the third world countries, no, are we part? Because yeah, ni yefi so this yefi so sa ama si akre immigrants if US na eno kudu twa Blackwa who happen to be Ghana's information foreign minister or the same bia babe to just say yes it is true. Said Donald Trump had a visa ban to some third world countries, but then the good news is that Ghana is not included. So share us Ghana not included in US green card review. Okuduta Blakwa clarifies. So that was Okuduta Blakwa in Sema Odituja. Now we would like to actually get some few details into this about this particular issue. It's straight up, Yebeko a year city newsroom, because I just want us to get a bit of clarity on what Okuduta Blakwa is saying, and even some Ghanaians are or say, hey, maybe I go USC for school for ejume. Does it mean say visa bani akamia na eho ena eye Okuduta Blakwa say, he has to explain a few things. When we say visa ban account most of our neighboring West African countries, but then the good news here is that Ghana, we are not parts. Now, sana midi kan kaya no, yebedi kani ako city newsroom, because they actually brought this particular report in full detail. They are explaining what really happened, the way forward for Ghana, and even Ghana yanka honokrano what is also adia ewo into share has say the whole screen is no so or say Ghana not included in US green card review. Ablaka clarifies. Now, Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okuduta Blakwa has disclosed that Ghana is not part of the United States government's latest green card review and temporary immigration suspension. Osanso Twelve said Mr. Blakwa said he received a formal briefing from the acting U.S. ambassador to Ghana, Rolf Oslund, who assured him that Ghana is not among of the countries affected by the new measures announced by the President Donald Trump administration. Inti aye Okuduta Blakwa since Samuel Odubetu Jano and yes or no kan be a timer, a US ambassador to Ghana, and a briefing is okay, let us put this on record. Sab visa banner Trump so handy to third world country. No, in some cases, people regard Ghana as a third world country, but what they are saying here is that Oba no party Ghana yenka. So US ambassador to Ghana waka say, which means Trump's own employee, and waka say Ghana yenka. Now it further goes on to say announcing the outcome of his meeting with the US envoy on Monday, December 1st, 2025. The minister said their discussions covered recent developments in Ghana versus US Ghana-US relations, specifically the clarification that Ghana has not been included in the review targeting certain green card holders. And I explained earlier what actually brought us to this particular place. Osaso Twelve, President Trump last week directed US authorities to review green card holders from selected countries after an Afghan national shot and killed one national guard. Actually, the other guy, he's not dead. So, city for some correct, the other guy is not dead. He's alive. Now, no kwani papa beka ni mame beka sa say papa no or responded to treatment. Opejani sa otimi moving the fingers, moving the eyebrows. He's responding to treatment. So, city for correct side. You know, so say no official list of affected or exempted countries has been released publicly. So, even though listen fan kan hono Ghana for bizarre so any say we dia kan eno na Okuduta Blakwa eka say briefing na only US ambassador have it's just a Ghana phone count. Now let me add this because it's very crucial in regards to this upcoming World Cup. Or say Mr. Blakwa said the meeting also addressed several bilateral issues, including the restoration of a 5-year visas for Ghana travelers, the withdrawal of 15% tariffs on cocoa, semi-processed cocoa and other qualifying agricultural products, and ongoing arrangements for Ghanaian supporters preparing for the World Cup activity. So, honestly, over this particular few days, and a few weeks, Ghana have been enjoying massive good things coming from the Trump administration. Remember, say, 5-year visa ban no a yɛde ma Ghana and Nigeria. Ghana is here yɛnka ho biom. Aside from that to tariffs Donald Trump edit to cocoa any Ghana agricultural products no and also and apart from that to Ghana for we now qualify to actually go to the World Cup, which means supporters no they have full legibility to go. So these are good things we are enjoying from the Trump administration, and then that is the issue back currently. So in some way there yes boba pa here to say at the end of the day no in some way and course. So for those of you who are thinking and for those of you who believe so the abe the nyaba what I say the abane the naba, which is Ghana we are including the ban or part say it is something which is not actually true. Ghana we are exempted, and if you are not included in something you are actually exempted, and that is the issue currently. So we are still looking into your friend is saying this particular issues. At the end of the day, more updates concerning all of these latest developments are ever. And also we are urging you, sir, you can also bring in your comments, because currently we are actually live on our this particular platform, Pinaxtv. So we will be moving on to other very important issues right here on this particular platform. All right, after also with this particular update, Minoka say Kenya Japan, one of any team members, can one just say, or related to President Akufo-Addo or the Nsimbia Babetuja. Now, what is really fascinating is that in all of these things, and all these while, Papina or Kabaumia team, but right now, the Kenya Japan, what defective Kenya Japan campaign. Na nipa America na say me, edian ye de friend Palgrave Boache Dankwa. Now, Osha so abe kensi mo see even if Dr. Bawumia wins MPP presidential primaries, he will never ever win the 2028 election. Until now, Ken Japan supporters, I don't know if Ken supporters are the people parading this, but then in some more patch and say a year Ken Japan elusu election impo. That's a year Bawumia win kra now. Ghana for some who say Bawumia and MP for some who say Bawumia is not going to win the 2028 election and na ene anase ochna. Now his reason we don't know. But I think say the audio here to understand the reason why he's saying this, and definitely in some of the two journal he has actually scorned a lot of faithfuls almost supported by Bawumia to say oh now see you vini after they see you vini krana 2028 ebe boy. Are you that are you that demonic? In fact, young question in Sema paragraph who happen to be one of King Japan, the envoys or the two jar Babaka will also try as much as possible and give you more updates in regards with this particular in Sema Pape Ediababe Tuja. Menoka say within the MPP his message seems very hurtful. Say Bawumia we no cry said then cry now the section of the party faithfuls or Makume they will never ever support him.
When I was young, I used to like the Sunlight advert because it was one of the most played advert, and I still remember the song. Okay, Sunlight is a very good product. Even till date, if I get Sunlight, I'll use that. But Sunlight is almost out of the market, and so it's not just about the product and the rebranding of the product. Okay, it's about the fact that the unique selling proposition of that product still remains the same. And the variables that made us lose the election has not changed.
So even now, it still remains the same.
Even now, the variables are still the same, and I have data here that I can prove. I can pull it out for you.
So, Doc, you are saying that even if I'm not saying he's going to, but I'm saying even if he wins the internal elections,
I don't think that Mahmoud is going to win.
No.
There's no variables here.
No problem. But let's say if that is the case, if he wins the internal elections and is supposed to do the national contest, you are saying that he's not going to win?
I don't think so. The variables are really the same, and the Ghanaian people haven't changed. I mean, you don't expect the Ghanaian people to change overnight in 4 years. I mean, I remember the NDC is also wanting to prepare and also retain power. Okay, so I look at the variables, and those variables haven't changed. Okay, we presented the candidates to be able to win a sizable part of the Ghanaian people. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo left a voter margin, like I told you, of 6.7. He reduced it to about 4.2, 4.3 thereabout. That's almost like 2 million votes. But I particularly want to focus on the North, which is important. In the 2020 general election, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, in terms of Northern region, had 409,963. Okay, in the 2024 general election, Mahmoud Bawumia lost by 39,135. He reduced that vote. The vote of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo in 2020 of 409,963, Mahmoud Bawumia reduced that by 39,135. Let me just go on. I'll just finish up so that you. And then in Savannah, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo in the 2020 general election had 80,605. Mahmoud Bawumia reduced that by 23,831. In Upper East region, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo had 170,340 votes. Mahmoud Bawumia reduced that by 63,640 votes. In Upper West region, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo had 121,230 votes. Mahmoud Bawumia reduced that by 31,324. The only place that Mahmoud appreciated was Northeast. In Northeast in 2020, Nana Addo Dankwa.
So that was in Sema Odibetuja. But then more also, some supporters of King Japan have started speaking out on various issues at Air Koso. Who believes that Ken is actually the next Flabia. Now you could hear this particular Ken supporter Obujuma Oche say, without King Japan, the MPP party is actually dead.
Saka NDC for God be the more.
Gabi o meba, unum say Gabi sisi e ba me ano.
Possible say if let's say everybody say if about me win, it's possible say it will be electoral massive invite. No, it will be possible can go do.
TM.
So can win we or bet no.
Mama tell her, Gabi, Oliani, na se Kennedy tell ho ko benya vote at MPP. Se Kennedy, oh, so tell no ho. E ko independence obenya batch MPP. Me kanu ka tro. Na ba me mama tell ba me anum say this year no. Ni politician obeye o asase suna no. O so de kufo. Won ma do kwanta me meji Akufo-Addo ne ba me di ye am me fo aboaka me fo ka na mo e fa mo an bi e na ko gba so ko to abama ayi Akufo-Addo because na say de ba me e ka no me kam nyankopon de mba wi ase say me adekonti am ku me ho ma ba me na Akufo-Addo ko to abama mo say na mu say MPP ba si dia ba me ha me sa ata no o ha me sa ata no oba sidi ne be ko wan sidi me catch madam because let the beer my baby on the man so say you me the dollar see the dollar a campaign ma obi timi lusu ba me na be kire Ghana for sa enti see no wo bet me ato won afum say ye timi fa anya campaign bi ma e ya de wo aka auto ni panitrim go biem baba e ya de wo aka auto ni panitrim see no Ghana ha no so wo no see me bo and this buy no o mu say promote oh there can I Mahama aye no e yeta ba me ane Akufo-Addo me MPP ni o we ase no prayer ba ko first at the country identity say show no time mama Akufo-Addo you Akufo-Addo mama Akufo-Addo
let's go 6,008 now. Wait, Akufo-Addo wait. No time last year oh my father last year full way Akufo-Addo way ba me be done no ha me sata no ha be say me sata bon wa ma see di no like Ghana economy no enko ye no na sa full way ba me na this year no no all high me be na full way the ton 6,900 boss so 6,900 but we say mama buy no ye case why dia me MPP but the Mahama yes full way who 3,500 ya who bet me to be who be anya bi ato
What as I say, and Tompa, Sabi, Ada ya, Abafom, Sabi, who are you on Casa Yanto? Oh, the ban out time for 30. As it is still over to Abosusu, 1 city, half of that, for 30. What I say, until you cut yourself by manager and the politician, above your yard, some of you too. And Mamma Mian Pakaji. They said that I'm not brought to the station or no brand at was a Bamia de Atona that it's a bit me as a packaging the number. This year, I'm a catcher or brand new. And it's Samijan, I got your Ponkuma. The catcher must say, that packaging is a gunner for you to know. Omunto packaging almost so much talk. Make catcher when you see and your catch natural Muntie packaging almost someone talk. I about my money, Baba. I 25% for moon now. You come, Miss Tomano. Many other mathematics about my bam. They can't catch up because the end is for $1. I meant to about my bam. They can't catch them. Packaging, no, I can't say order number 1.
It's here for in summer Abranti there. It's very interesting. Why? Because mathematics is not mathematics. If iPhone was sold that time, yes, above phone because iPhone a release. A friend is saying iPhones every time. So you see our iPhone 17 Pro Max. The price cannot be the same as 4 years back. Apart from say release latest brands, you should also know say depreciation back no. So minim how they are working and he is working with this mathematics. But regardless, in same so kind, it really made sense. It really made sense. So that is the issue. Just say air cost currently. It is very is quite interesting. So that is the issue at Ecoso. We'll actually be giving you more details in regards with this particular issue, sir. Ecoso. Yesterday, Mamu update say Martin Pibu has been arrested. Meneminoka saying now he has actually broke silence. Meneminoka saying and some the IBB parliament grab bang backbin suggest say anke be OSP office because OSP ye for so be also. What I say, meanwhile, they be your money scam. And even aside from all of these things are air cost again, people are saying say Martin people are chilling but saying military personnel mishandle because of that parliamentarians they've called for a year Kisieja been to come to parliament and explain himself. But they ain't could in some Martin people and Kasa edit suja ebra release in your bar.
When I entered this is office of special prosecutor, I stepped out. So like you enter the yard, park. Then I stepped out to go and grant an interview to Joy FM's Fatah Bayariga, right? So whilst we're granting the interview like this, we're conducting the interview. Then one of the policemen, Mr. J, came and then signaled that we should move from that place. If you see the OSP office, if you face it, the left side is an ECG facility. I don't, I want to say transformer, but I don't know. I'm not a technical person, so let's just say ECG facility. So he said, no, don't even do interview there. Move away. So you even see, I hope I was captured live, telling them Bayariga, Fatah, and the cameraman, let's move. So we moved. So when the interview was done, I came back into the yard. The first person I met was a policeman who came and sacked us. He said nothing to me, I said nothing to him, and then went passing. But about 2-3 steps on, then I heard you. So I turned. When I turned, it was a soldier, one of the soldiers there. And then he continued, we allowed you to park here, and instead of you to go, I'm paraphrasing, go upstairs, you went out to grant interview, something like that. Next time we'll not allow you. So I said, how? What law allows you to prevent me? You cannot do that. Then that soldier kept quiet. Then I think I moved maybe maximum 3 steps. Then I heard another, as for me, next time you come and do that here. So before he completed, I turned. Then it was another soldier. Then he continued the sentence. Next time you come and do that here, I'll show you. And you know how soldiers, general, the typical one, he wants to discipline you immediately. That was the tone and the mannerism. I know I'm a lawyer, so I cannot be cowed like that. So I said, what? How can you do that? What can you do? What can you show me? Then the next time, I'm sure he didn't think that a lawyer, or maybe he doesn't know that I'm a lawyer, so he thought maybe I'll be cowed. So I said, you're a stupid man. Yes, that's what the soldier said. He was the first. He said, I am stupid. But I don't think, look, yes, a professor, a lawyer, any human being can be stupid, right? When the right context. But in this context, what did I do that was stupid? Nothing. It's not as if I saw any rule and breached it to go and grant. No. So I don't know what amounts to stupid in that context. So I didn't find it justified. It's not that I don't think I can be stupid. Anybody can. You can do a certain conduct which can be stupid. It doesn't mean you are totally stupid all the time. We all have mad moments, bad judgments. It happens. So that's not the point.
So that was lawyer Martin. People are now explaining what really happened leading to an arrest. Now, apart from that, too, somebody can catch on. OSP has actually been hauled to Parliament to explain why they arrested lawyer Martin. People, but apart from all of these things, the OSP's office is also saying, lawyer Martin people, he's just bent on denigrating the OSP for no reason. Nipa this answer me be tuja Mr. Samuel Apiadako, who happened to be the director of the office of the special prosecutor in some way by better as
Martin Tibu has made specific allegations of corruption against the SP and the OSP. When a lawyer makes an allegation, the lawyer will typically back it with evidence. But this is an allegation made by a lawyer with no shred of evidence. And all he does is to repeatedly make the allegation with the help of media every time. And as a nation, we've not taken our time to even question him on the basis of his allegation, what evidence he has. The laws are very clear. If you think that you have evidence of corruption against the SP or the agency called the OSP, there's a lay-down procedure you go through. And every time he comes on your platforms and he will tell you he's putting it together. To me, does he want to use 1 year to put together allegations against the SP? Then why don't you wait? When you've been able to put together your evidence, then you can come on air and make the allegations, or you submit it to the various institutions that could look into it. But just to come on radio every day, repeat allegations, insult the person of the SP, denigrate the integrity of the office, and the same people are expecting the office you are denigrating to work on an extradition for Kenneth Oriata. You are dragging the institution down with no evidence. People are listening. And at the end of the day, the bad guys are the ones who are very happy. So the OSP, as the primary agency that investigates corruption in this country, decided that let's go into it. Maybe he has some evidence. So a fact-finding committee was set up to go into it. So that's the long and short of the matter. However, he has refused to cooperate. But anytime he comes to the office, he comes with a number of media persons because he's a showman and wanting to do his show. But that is not the problem. It's after when he leaves the office, he goes, and the things he says are contrary to what he says. For instance, you come and say he's cooperating in the office, he's doing this, but he does not. Where in this country can you go to NIB, go to police, and tell them, I don't like this officer, I don't want the officer to sit, to be the one interview me? Where? Who gets that privilege? But at the OSP, we have tolerated all these conduct. He will say, I don't like this officer to be in it. The OSP will change it because we are doing a fact finding. Maybe he has evidence against the SP that will help to remove the SP. That's good. That's if the SP is corrupt. But we do this for you. The next time you come, you say, these officers are junior colleagues. I won't talk to them, blah, blah. Meanwhile, the officers talking to you are equivalent in rank to deputy commissioners of police. They are not small boys. You talk anyhow to them, you misbehave in front of them, they give you all the cordiality, and you say you answer, they say, okay. Now, eventually, your last trick is that you want the OSP board to rather be the ones doing this interview, when you know perfectly that there's no OSP board presently. So you can see from the pattern that this is a person who is just bent on denigrating the office, bringing the reputation of the SP to disrepute and all that. Then last minute he comes to the office and he extends all these things to officers who are lawfully performing their duties. So if you go to Ghana Police, if you go to NIB, and the officers in charge, men in uniform with guns, directing you to do something, and even if you won't do it, you have to do it respectfully, even as a lawyer, just for the sake of the profession. But you don't do that. You rather hurl insults at them and display an unruly behavior towards the men. If not that these men have been well trained to hold themselves up and to ensure that they do not ever allow any person to have a cause to say the person has been assaulted or done anything. It should have been a different thing altogether. But I want to congratulate these officers for holding themselves and still insisting that he goes through the right procedure and processes. And when you do that in any law enforcement agency, you'll be placed under arrest. So we have to separate his arrest from the fact-finding work that he has refused to cooperate with the OSP.
OSP the communications director or the two job parties say Lawyer Martin Kpebua and then Wabejina Bonteno. In fact, when he came to the OSP office, what he did was very sad and was very disrespectful. And according to him, the argument in the air patch say, you know, in fact, it's me I'm way na ya bet me because my ABB bonnet. No problem. Me call a year police fui na OSP ni ma me say wo untime interview me because unye me ko equal. Wo untimi interview me because oye nipa na me ni nya asem ne small boy wo untimi interview because me pɛ asem debi untimi nche OSP di obeye. And according to Papa no Paisa Martin Kpebu is breeding some sort of pride because said you the NDC see it say or you be a wabwa party in actually hammering the previous government when they were in power into see anim ren na so but on kai hunu say cha one day the new patriotic party on Beba power, and they may not spare you like this. They may not spare you like you can be beer or mochewa. You have no right because you don't talk for their party and I say you don't say things that favor them. No, you have no basic rights. So bit much on me say me pay you fear we be they be 8 me basa no pa say papi ye bibia e was say Ghana ye hwene e ka ho asem. See at the end of the day OSP office ye guna and say hwe. At the end of the day, ono no abaso ba ni dwon se musumu na muama sema. Musumu na muama eden muasema. So that is the issue. Ekoso your friend is saying currently. Now, in regards to this same OSP issue, no, Minoka saying sema ababe tuja patch say the reason why a soldier for they actually arrested and actually took into custody Kisie Jabin was because of what he said. Now, Ocean reports here was screens no swa or say this is coming from Sami Dak, who actually works as a director of communications with the OSP. Or say Martin Kpebu told the OSP bodyguards and the OSP guards that Kisie Jabin is a nobody who will be removed soon. Inti Kisie Jabin want make allegations against him or so dear brand be chemu. If you have evidence na true, I'll resign. And people who are omushemu na omu say yampa, why not? There's an independent body. Omushemu na yampa ye be yime no. Martin Kpebu call ya say OSP no wo ho no. Kisie Jabin onyo bia o nobody. Very soon ye be yino. That is what a yes Sami Daku eka. So that is Sami Daku on the screens. But then share a bit of details into what he said. Ye babaka see we no ye babaka ni share another angle. So if you all of these issues then emu then eba. Osha has say in regards with a year in Sema Odituja explaining what he did or say Director of Strategy, Research and Communication at the Office of the Special Prosecutor Sami Darko as alleged private legal practitioner Martin Kpebu verbally abused security officers at the OSP. This was before his arrest on Wednesday, December 3rd. According to Mr. Darko, the confrontation began when security personnel reminded Mr. Kpebu that filming and photography were not permitted around the OSP office. According to information at Airbano, OSP office no untimi nko video ni picture. It is not permitted. It is what? Not permitted. Far from that, so no, omo kache Martin Kpebu same way, and Martin Kpebu also said, he claims that the lawyer reacted angrily, insulted the officers, and made disparaging remarks about their superior special prosecutor Kisie Jabe. Mr. Kpebu told the guards that they were nobodies, and even their boss, the head of the agency, is a nobody, will be removed soon. Mr. Darko alleged in a statement clarifying the events leading to the arrest. He said the OSP recorded the exchange due to what he described as a pattern of misrepresentation by the lawyer following previous encounters with security cameras. Into a party saying same way I call so no na Kisie Jabe I invite so sebra okoya wo the media for alcohol and now granting interviews near the ade. Meanwhile, when you go into close proximity and answer we do shut them near to during interrogation, which evidence do you have? Or say I'm gathering it. Why are you saying this against the OSP? Or say it is what I've found. Meanwhile, you as a lawyer, you brought no empirical evidence to support your claim. No empirical evidence, and yes, so we ya now koya no akofre TV3 for any Joy News for no so munye me interview in a course social I tell you meanwhile wait man tell you bibia and I say what Martin Kpebu is just doing is just for show or there to look good on the camera so no so action. So that is what he said. But then far from that, there are also questions in regards to why OSP actually sat down and made Kenufurata left the country, because in some way in the cover by Kenufurata yede ne bagana ultimately on wankasa akoye no duama nko a omba we are learning say sisi ano okwakoye German citizen okwako edane ne ho as a US citizen yenkotie san same we a NDC coordinator auditor. When we come back we will continue with this particular update.
Let me stay with you a bit longer because you mentioned the case involving Kenufurata, for example. Realistically, and I'm choosing my words carefully, I don't want to end up in any legal tussle anywhere. In our part of the world, where the government in power and very influential people in the party are almost untouchable, we're told that Mr. Furiata left this country on the 2nd or the 3rd of January this year. 2nd or 3rd, one of them. Knowing who he was and how influential he was in the party, realistically, that's my first question. Were the authorities going to be in a position to prevent this very powerful and influential person from leaving? That's the first one. 2, again, if you can help me, Mr. Furiata can be tried in absentia, correct?
If he is charged, yes. If he were charged and arraigned, he could be tried. But here you have not charged the person. So that.
What is the back and forth with the AG all about concerning the same case?
But no, let me respond to the initial issue.
Sure, you can take it one by one for me. Yeah.
If we are to accept your position.
No, I'm only asking.
Yes,
yeah.
I know. But if we are to accept your position that if a person's party is in government and the person conducts himself in the way and manner Ken Ofori-Atta conducted himself in the SML issue and all of that, then the person should remain untouchable, and we are to use that as an extenuating factor in the allegations against Special Prosecutor Ken Ofori, Kisie Jabe. I don't necessarily buy the argument that he deliberately allowed him. I have no evidence to that. But if we are to accept that that is enough justification, were it to be true that he knew that Ken Ofori-Atta was exiting and he knew he had found some things against him and allowed him to go, were we to accept that, then we are a banana republic. It means that anybody can just ensure that, well, he aligns with the governing party and do whatever the hell they want. It means that his office becomes irrelevant. That cannot be the case in this country. And so it is important that we look into these matters. At what point did the special prosecutor become seized with facts which would lead him to conclude that this person has cases to answer? What steps did he take to ensure that this person faces the law? Did he deliberately allow Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta to leave the country? We should look into those issues. As for the excuse that his government was in power, does that mean that today, if associates of the National Democratic Congress, break the law,
very influential associates,
it doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter who. Corruption, looting, and plundering the public purse, signing, contracts, knowing very well that they will cause financial loss to the state, should not be excused by reason only of the fact that someone is an associate of the governing party. I don't buy that. So that cannot be a basis for which we can say that there is any realistic view that he was unable to apprehend Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta. No, that cannot be the case. In fact, he was he charged Charles Bissiou. Around the same periods, the then governing New Patriotic Party was in power. Charles Bissiou was in charge of the Galamsey Task Force, wasn't it? The special operative. Yes.
Maybe he was a lightweight.
I don't think so. I don't think that anybody, by reason of their association with the president or the governing party, is a heavyweight or anything when it comes to this. So after all, the essence of the OSP Act is to deal with these very people. And so if you turn around and tell us that, well, these people are too heavy, I don't buy that. I don't buy that. Especially because when Mr. Kisi Ejaben was being vetted for this position, it was at the backdrop of someone resigning. You recall Mr. Alamisi Amidu was the special prosecutor who chickened out and said that President Kufuor himself was the mother serpent of corruption and that he is unable to tame the serpent. And so he fled the office. At the backdrop of those facts, Mr. Kisi Ejaben told us that he is able to tame the serpent. And he took the office. So he can't turn around and say that the serpents are now bigger than him. They are now too venomous for him to contend with. He can't say that.
That would work.
He doesn't have that liberty.
Finally, help me with this. And I'm looking at the conditions for the removal of the OSP.
Yes.
I see one, misconduct.
Yes.
The SP can be removed for behaving improperly. Who determines how somebody behaves improperly?
Well,
All right, so in sema abanono concerning a year a friend is saying Kisi Ejaben Menoka saying people are saying, so why did he sat down and even allowed a year Ken Ofori-Atta to leave the country a year in the first place? At the end of the day, this is one of the major things or more agent so the allege say this particular man in question, I was see Kisi Ejaben was see because Ken Ofori-Atta Ofi Ghana he is not planning on coming back. We'll come back to that issue in a bit. The Minister of Education, Harry Nedriso Menoka say, there are calls for him to resign. So what is the issue here, and what is actually prompting the calls for him to resign? Recently, what's the results and is something not to write home about because according to Oshe Update, the bar platform, so a majority of people actually failed. Majority of people failed. What you are saying? What's the results nearby? In total, and in terms of a year, one more pass and one more failure, and that is a failure rates high. And no, and I mean, no, can say Akufo-Addo the cousin back home. A friend, Dr. Palgrave Boache Dankwa, who also happens to be a King Japan person. I just say, okay, King Japan campaign team no, or didn't seem be ababe to the the actually was screens no so or say, I don't know why President Mahama is still keeping Education Minister Harry Nedriso after the recent terrible WASSCE results. Onim the President Mahama, AKP, Education Minister Harry Nedruso, after results, what's the results a buyer, and yet terrible that some NDC for omupo they have the view say we dey and some MP, some MPP before the Omaka say but some NDC people are also saying say no. You can't blame the new the National Democratic Congress because omugugu a year marking scheme and if you don't know Ghana Kasa we've moved from the Ghana only WASI questions to a year your friend is saying the whole West Africa WASI questions because before COVID not a year your friend is saying West Africa Examination Council no why na any other countries na extra it me say me throw me who say at the back of the sheet here because this question are reserved for countries West African like Nigeria, Gabon and other things what I say but this time around no COVID hit here no they reserved it only Ghana for ni ankasa na set here questions and as see no yaya ma abedu ha students e faint on part say failure bi wo ho Mahama buy from January. The students have been learning till. Into almost 2 exams April or so. Mahama nani said you can't blame him. But then people and people within the New Patriotic Party of the view say I will say a sake a year having a druce because on only thing and for the past 5 years failure rates no a year high. In Kolomu fairly pa was a year was 5 years they being see that. And a month will be say what is really happening. And also now same way muno. And also a year Bryce Simmons or the same Biababe to just say Sisia no that's sorry a year the communication minister Sam George or the same Biababe to just say Ghana ye kwako ye babe register new sim. What yes na month will be say new sim ye ya ntiem na. You see obiaba power na or try so befa kwiti kwen bi so ayeden a make sika. In fact, your office nim ya. But remember example, Akufo-Addo time, Akufo-Addo buy na gutter, correct gutter pa to say, yeah this round pillars here the year for got here and kama. The previous administration Mahama at almost omu ye kama na e wo ha. Omu ye keep close Makati road in omu ye and omu de buy ya eba your friend is saying malam eba awusi nya de ade. No problem. Omo baye Akufo-Addo baye no menim ene fa ye excavator bi tutu ni nyina ene omo so omo ye fofo no omo ye gota fie bi no problem afei de Mahama ba ye ba be tutu bi ete se gota no obia ba opese odidi ntine o se ma ne content e be tutu ni asan ye ni biom saa kopim tam nyam beba ene o se saa sim re-registration ni asema mi ke no e dey say Kufuor time kai na national identification card. Yeah. Mahama ba ye fufuro. Akufo-Addo ba ye. Ono so be ye Ghana card. Afei de yes ye Ghana card fufuro. And in this same registration we registered same last time. And same bebre ama this time no say be stop a year momo fraud ni other and this time too Sam George back or sim registration and now for year no. If I so be any so into any bill. And I'm for bisa say, who Sam George? Time na yes sim registration. Which now parliament say Ghanaians should boycott it. Na dia embo by on mine no sika say and now wa ba also be for fro. Into who there now be any sika say and sika say and Bryce Simmons who happen to be one of the co-founders of Imani Ghana or didn't say me about today. Be really crazy penny at so. Or say okay, I'm getting messages to the effect that my questions about the proposed SIM card re-registration is a bit cynical. 2. That we shouldn't be naysayers all the time, that we should give elected officials in Ghana the benefit of the doubt. That I'm jumping the gun on raising procurement issues as the minister just initiated the program. Here is why I sounded frustrated. A. In 2010, a mass registration of SIM cards was done. Okay. Think tanks raised serious questions that went unanswered. Policy design questions to ensure that the proposed solution to the described problem was as robust as was claimed. The docile citizens did not join in pressing politicians and bureaucrats just ignored us. In 2010, SIM registration 15 years ago, the same thing. And in 2010, who was in power? Guess it. Yes. Mahama data na atamos na ewo power. Amanfo bisa say sa sim registration fa so ben e wo so adinti na omo so yenye because here government for here government here good for our national security and trust. By 2014, the country was being told that the 2010 mass registration failed and another one was required. In 2014, Ena Satana Atamos we unye baby ko ama yaye election for ama Mahama ene tia de so. Ena aban ekache say sim registration na ye na no ye no. In 2010 no e fairly because Intiman capture all the details. Intiye another sim registration BM in 2014. Inti Atamos be ye bi your friend is saying Mahama so by in 2014 on so be ye because he won the 2012 elections. By 2021, okay, the country was again primed to accept the failure of the last one and a new one was launched. And up as in 2021, the same issue and your sim registration and I also register and yes, and your friend now register and catch us say you have just 1 week in same who say the new registration and no say yes at an nipa communication minister Eslowusu on the then vice could you upon in Nkrumah. It is now 2025 again. Ghanaians are being convinced to accept that such chronic failure is normal and a new mass registration of SIM cards will fix the previous mess. Again, in 2025, no, yes, SIM registration. You should date never in 2010, in 2014, in 2021, and also in 2025, 4 times. It's the same SIM registration. Say, friend Patrick is Siama. The same Kana card and our password and one may use the same details. Nothing has changed. Yes, so Yanum send me register. Then because you beat me create contract, you beat me their move be ni didi home. And obisa say idea DBA see fairly into Indiana. Young class also 5. Isn't it clear to Ghanaians by now that the whole system is set up never to learn? That national learning is impossible under such governance arrangements. That is cartonomics. That's this cartonomics thing I keep pushing explains the perennial failures of policy in Ghana every time. And all patches says see I no thank sorry say me raise it to the bar. Okay, it did not reading now. Unfortunately, me read it, but anyway, it will show 5 now. Or see it is isn't it clear to Ghanaians by now that the whole system is set up never to learn, that the national learning is impossible under such governance arrangements, that this whole cartonomics thing I keep pushing explains the perennial failures of a policy in Ghana, every time. Every time. Yeah. So that is one. I think I would like to read everything because they are pretty actually personally I'm enjoying it and I like it. Yes, it will see reading it here. All the things are a year or the 2 a year from a year. I think say points in the door so ye pa, but then we'll try I think say and read just from yes maybe we did a few parts the others need see a year no let us see we are you feel so that you're caught in some food because this man is cooking pow or cookie Charlie enye aye asem ketwa je say odwen ho kra oyere onti ase. So let's put this on the screens and then at the end of the day we will move on into 6 now. Or say how can a country continue to repeatedly fail at something and yet each new round is driven by politicians without slightest hint of shame or sense of accountability? So I said, a bunch of politicians say, you fail, now so still now one person hear the same thing. 7. What if I told you that the previous mass registration has never been driven by policy, by procurement dressed up as political necessities, i.e., the need to protect citizens from fraud? This is classic cartonomics. And what I say, catch on the woman says, I seen registration. And yes, say, you be protect you from fraud and best stop mobile money for debi. Share. Yes, new SIM registration now. You be here a company or good in cyber security. and internet omo use data niema ye be procure new machines ye be ma contract omo mba be ye be ma contract omo niema ye be cry be sim registration data be loadi data center system computer sanye many nyina party for nankasa na omo ye and ye the contract ni me nkofo nti ye be ka che so sim registration ye be book $100 million. So $100 million per se, hypothetically, it is going into people. I did a more contract getting. I didn't the ubia bottom pofu. Into when you be we to say Minister B or apartments ni all ban also an issue. Obi we say or one dying all over the country. Yentraso. 8. They will sell a vision of what they want to do. Something politically desirable for the benefit of the society, but they never engage on the how, policy rationale, design, and implementation. Meanwhile, the underlying motive is procurement driven, classic cartonomics. And also, so because our data is being breached. Then time say, it was not really captured well, and we need to save the citizens. And procurement. You be ye obi benya contract obi benya you be at the end of the day no obia wan the cat because computers be use obi party ni be produce contract for there data centers ni internet be use contract no party member ne benya correct for there personnel you be here party members full soldiers mumbe ye any senior registration be take 6 months any part you be we say we nya okakra say ya procurement driven. 9. Or see, is the upcoming 2026 mass registration also driven by procurement? The minister must tell us. The question I asked yesterday about sole sourcing is fair. We have the information that the Ministry of Communication has already authorized the sole sourcing of the highly sensitive SIM registration to exercise to a mushroom company set up in 2022 called Transatly. And now parties is also source na ye be contract bia ye de betum ye be to abontin na companies will apply ni share the person who can really do the job effectively at a low cost and efficiently ye nhwe se dem ma ye ankase ye hunipa no. Are we really going through that kind of soul sourcing and that kind of more like a classic your friend is saying way I just say obia be apply what is more like an auction style or the contract in my party ni PB and up as a company be a set it up in 2022 or investigation say company be a set it up in 2022 and Transatly sa company and the Ministry of Communication or this a year SIM registration contract and SIC or the akosha omosa. What do you smell? B, that the company is run by people close to him. And yes, sa company ni efene transact lomba be a year SIM registration no. Sa one only sa company no omo Ben Sam George. B, that the company C, rather, that the company has never deployed such large security and privacy sensitive and national critical mission projects before. And the prices our company, Omunye BB said that they've not done, they don't have any expertise in SIM registration. Omunye big contract like this, they will register over 20 million Ghanaians holding phone. A been see that 2022 year number the more. And we are learning say they are close to the minister. Again, or try to say D, that some of the NCA are opposed. No, the National Communication Authority say idea we contract we decided opposing it. E, that the trial system demoed to a major telco failed the telco's assessment. No, say the trial system anyhow idea ya set on telco for. It's ni tintini ni tete nyina ne say sansem we are ekoso Sa SIM registration SIC ekoso at the end of the day, Ghanaians, we need to be asking ourselves big questions. Is this thing very important? Ebebwana, and I say at the end of the day, Sam George, any NDC cronies omo ye. Na at the end of the day, yes, ye be my party for contract. Na dache, omo boy ye ba power no, o man kase a neglect omo. And even at the end of the day, crying we are any obia so wedding Ebenyane Cats. The big question is that what is really happening or not? So Bryce Simmons is not sure he be in fact, you can't say we reading perhaps we will not get up today. So we will just read a bit, and at the end of the day, we'll try as much as possible and then bring you the updates and answer more updates in regards with all of these things at Air Course. So near Kyle say you can also bring in your comments. We are still live on this particular platform, Pinaxtv. Now, Yebabe Twaso. On your screens, Okonfo Agrada. In fact, just yesterday, she was rushed to the Supreme Court. Plea bargain. As our plea bargain, we are learning says somewhere next week Friday. Next week Friday, either the 12th or the 16th, and abide the final verdict of the plea bargain. As our case, it involves Agrada and the Papi BFN appear biblical. Ninyanis appear biblical. I say your coaching say on your baby Eda. And if you try na deja in the video, and na Agrada fast our pictures no could show on national TV, which is a crime. Now, sir, seminar course na a trial because they still actually charge her. No, me no can say no. Agrada akọ for a plea bargain. Judge ama quine say, and I say what she say. Agrada and the lawyers together with Attorney General and also appear biblical no plaintiff in this case, for the details of the plea bargain by no shape now. It is unshare if if he or she is going to approve it or not. But next, Agrada is actually appealing her 15-year jail sentence at Amasaman High Court because a ban in Sawon prisons because Agrada is currently being housed at in Sawon prisons. Now, same way in air course and then Agrada ekupie mu ewo Amasaman High Court ekutie ni bill ni pending appeal case air course. Now, for the first time, we've captured Agrada because now no appear biblical ekasa and say Agrada says, hey, woman change. Utim se niema nkoyi kra. Na eno ena we are learning say appeal no the echo. So now, mami reading what really happened and now mami more details of what really happened today. Ebra Agrada echo course and also no updater ifi ho eba because in some way echo so no there's been a lot of updates at the end of the day, I was say a update we bring eba. In the one of the full reports are as to what is really happening with Agrada case, Mike 2. Yes, or he's one of the people like I say or court now or court wa Oti courts ni munsem the way forward with the courts proceedings and also judge in some judge ni kanye in regards to this whole appeal case. You could see in summer Mike 2 edit to very soon. Detailed explanation and even crown in summer at the end of the day will Agrada actually win her appeal. Will Agrada actually win her appeal? These are basic issues and our questions are man for be the abuse in a moment you have to share this particular video near Babaka. You better also with more updates of Insema Eba mo pesebu Agrada ne issue na ekoso pesebu if at the end of the day her appeal is going to be successful or not, you will get it very soon. Yenko tie Insema if you court so eba and also mu hope say at the end of the day Agrada court ebe granting some sort of leniency ewa ha say until this particular report Mike 2 and at the baya Adom FM Mike 2 into yenko tie Insema odi etuja say Babaka. We will continue with this particular update and also what is coming from courts.
I was on the lawyers appeal pending bail. Now, that time no more appeal pending bail or by Amasaman High Court no more can appeal pending bail. Now, sabre na judge not here dwemu. Ene enkomo a lawyer for no agada a lawyer for no be di no. Wa anyi bail na ntum. Na kwaje bail ni tumu a let's say enka Agrada nkende enka oni in some prisons enka obewo fie kopem say appeal na omo ye no
ye be ye wiam ehunu ba bi ogina na saa time no judge no tie adwamu no oje appeal no hearing of the appeal no the grant ye name bail no na one grant and na nam so a oda so eda ensewomu for ne jail sentence na or 7 no nti ene da e be ka say be di kan pa appeal no wo mo tie san say saa time the judge ne kan say record of proceedings ya circuit court wakra oma judgment no omo mfa ne nyina mo abone nyina no emra se ne be ya ono ote adwam no obehu asem ne nyina no san say ono de ha no enyo ne di asem nti oni record bia nti eno na ode ma awom se omonye nti ene no mo ba na kese saa records na ohwe no free circuit court akra or pass a judgment of 15 years on agrada no omo de ne nyina bre amasaman high court nti ene Justice Solomon upon Chumasi ene tra eti adwam se otimboafo panin na eno no ka kire a lawyer for no agrada lawyer ene aban lawyer science asem we no the Republic versus Patricia Sidua intina say aban lawyer for nso ba ti aban lawyer oba ye no omo kire se na nkratasem bi ene pen drive ho nsem bi no say omutumi nya ni nyina egu court ho ansa nti court no ema say ma omo 30 minutes womo nkoye sa ne manema ni nyina amra nti court epeja ni mu asem no so simaduasa eno achi na ansa na osan ba befre obefre no kire se sese no hu se omo sa ne ma na omo kan nyina pen drive no or the serve court no ene ehun keka ho ba ko 4 gig video de no say 16 gig ni nyina no court nsaka nti Justice Solomon Oponchumasi kire se ese no wama agrada lawyer for no say womo so omo mfale wo addresses na aban lawyer for so mfale wo addresses se ne be ya if it wama agrada lawyer no 18 of this month na aban lawyer for so 19 na nyame ya no mo file sa addresses ni nyina wi a oba betra ase ya mo nyina be san ba court filing of the addresses no de say oba file a applicant no say agrada ya applicant in this very case because I appeal na in the applicant no court no during the filing of those addresses name on 21st of January 2026 and a court besan transfer asem no so na otimboe for no can say 21st of January no omo transfer no so mpa enema ni nyina no kwado kan say ma no na ansampo say o ma be transfer so betumi pass the judgment into work chair say 21st January no omo be transfer no so biwa enche kra or the judgment beba or no kra de no kan say ma no na ansa o ne nan yu obetumi pass judgment nti no beba no January 21st no ena court no ne o kan ne de ebeye ne etwa to kra say bia na bibi fufuo bi na besi dia na so ne court ne kan ne de 21st January no ena ebeye ne etwa to kra court no so be trance ahwehwe omo nsem mu na for the judgment aba nti si ya no judgment no eba ena ebehu say near na agrada lawyer for na ka say judgment was too harsh or say almost na judgment na no dey no do afi omo raise in the appeal no the first them back court no e ma omo kan say ma me no kra ma omo kwan na judge na ma omo kwan amomo witnesses no anyina mekasa afi omo kan say nema bi wo ho a na ntwa wi nti sa nema we nyina no e no ma betra say aba behwe say judgment no de maaye no na ano dey do do ana e wo say ete now so defrauding by false pretense no emra na can say you betimi amount a certain limit of years 10 to 30 years enti so amount 15 a eno che say e be our favor e be emra na betimi amount na emu no aya na emra na can say wuntimi ma no less than the required the yin chassis no say be ka say be 5 years ana say ye be ka say 3 years eno de they say no yen de yentimi nka na court be ka na emu no say na emra na e ka no eno na ye ka say sensusu afufuro bia sesa wo mra no ho de a na na yenim ni a ehye se be court motuo mu ode banti no saa na ye behwe se judgment na chi no se na be ko se bi wo betumi aka se wa anya ntumumpo na osusu se near circuit court no de mine impost a obetimi de bi aka ho osuse so a hanu se high court no so ye circuit court ne papa anti high court kese opani kasa enti so wie mpo na omo so ka so ste omo nto omo ho ase a obetimi asa ya appeal ni biu
high court here na
obetimi de akọ high court foforo na so obekọ ebi a court of appeal akwakoye appeal ni biu na so ye wo ho no o ka asem bi ane no ye off record na odi tu omfo e na o kire the very conduct of lawyer for no na ono kra sa biu oye lawyer ni pen so ansa na ye fre no akọ ba no ne bench no ene ne keka ho nti no the very conduct enti if the lawyers for Agrada are able to exhibit the very good conduct and more konia ebia na bibi fufuru bi aba nti ye hwe nim say after 21st January no judgment ne beba na be kosen say entiso ne beba ana say ebe san akosoro isan say ne ono circuit court na ye no eye court we ne ba na ode sa judgment na ba to ba behwe say ne ba na say ne odi ye no odi ni ye anaso wani ni ye san say no na Agrada lawyer for na ehwehwe epre say ano ye de dodo sa asemu de nkenize nkema no 15 years intina nka ye ma no 15 years no oba behwe mu say ye ma na he e ba be ye 14 e ba be ye 10 anaso 2 ana beka say afegwa de ye yi ni kura free prison ho ana. So we are all looking forward to hearing the judgment after 21st January no ya hwe ne be kokosi nti o hwe ene no ye ba no na ade ba ko a na ye mu bi ni empese be ye adwuma no se me ba beti ye se prison officers say omo bia entwa Agrada
nti anopa no de na omo de ne ba ye kra no na prison officers ne de omo net na ya omo tade chekire omo ho omo de bi achekire ma Patricia tiri hu nyina sa no omo de ne wura mu nti omo si media ni mo bi entwa
enti ye mu bi no me ko confront wom ebisa omo the reason ti omo yes omo say ye mo ntwa na instruction or order from above ti mu bi kan say no say wo ha ye ma kwan ma prison officer bi intimidate media because that is not the order from the court. It is an order from the court say court na shemra say media persons ba ye mamu ntwade a ye ntimi mu court mraso. But once it was not coming from the court na a beye prison officer or a police person there. Me bu ye kan say ye nyintum. Enti me ma ba ani twa ya me hu say sabre ne mu no obia nsi obia kwan
omo bon ho ban
ban bon de obetimi abon no but no krampo na obon ho ban se de obon ho ban se
na nkrofo obetimi attack
e de na ye de ko attack no cameras na gita ye no aye bomb cameras na ye bomb of course she needs protection that one the obia ntimi ka say she doesn't need protection she needs it but it is not a prevention of say my media people no enyo madwuma se ba betwa Agrada very simple convict they are convicted no or a convicted person and if a convicted person eba quarter na prison officer catch them say omo yentwa no saa de we bi si bra and first appearance or amasama high court no yemu bi e ka set here say nya the papa I was say a prison officer will gag media people from taking pictures of a very simple a prisoner. Agrada is a prisoner. A dog has a saying what a integrity is she protecting? For now, she doesn't have any integrity so to protect. The same book yes, because the pronouncement of the circuit court judgment, any day you them. Into what integrity again are you protecting that? Of course, as I've already indicated, she needs that protection, but not say you cover Agrada so that the media people will not get the opportunity to capture her.
Okay, so that was in Sema Mike 2, edit 2. President John Dramani Mahama, from the look of things, so Ghanaians and also NDC4, you guys should be bracing yourself for a third term because me know Prophet Roger Odi Kang Eka Mahama be winning many of the prophecies, including helicopter crash and in Yama be BC wedi can canon or the same Biaba to us say a constitution no very soon no soon say very soon Ghana for a be amend a constitution amend a constitution a be amend the constitution in such a way say Mahama obi na kwan na wako them. In fact, this news is shaking a lot because Mahama is too popular to the extent say obi to mark 3 times cry obi winning yenti say ma a prophet when we come back, we continue.
Make any mood by Mecca. Yenra Ghana Parliament House, me who say there is a communication be in the realms is ahead of us. As our communication, you know, a baba says somebody be. Na sam running says any we pay you are. A beba be Ghana election 2026 year be unity. And Komodie bi bekosho. Our Ghana Parliament House.
Okay.
2026 yiko ya. Sa Komodie ne kosho a ebeba ba bi wie Ghana ya bato. Ebaba bi wie Ghana bato a ebema niema bi a ewo ho ne ensesa. Ebewo ho saa kopim 2028 eni nachi ensesa.
So who breaking it down kakrama me. Parliament be amendment for mrabim. Some ran be affected 2028
election.
Ye beto no.
Affected election na ye huni nde no. Ye be huni sa ensesa. Me pese eyi ni tina maba na be breaking it down ma.
O dreaming and I want who be for 10 be one as I wo kan me de madwin bubu a as yes some rabbi na say ma de wo ho no mo a na say anya man sesa
ensesa bibia.
Do you see say a man pani betimi asan akobio?
I have seen it. Say he's going for the 3rd time and he will win the election. That is it. Until say Entina meka say me pese unity. Now me breaking yama be down here. Emma Ghana for TSA.
Okay.
And for the good
of the country.
Of the country. In a way. And in another way so no bibi wa chide. Bibi wa na be chire sa de kro.
When na hu ye na ye de ye hu bibi ebe ye yie no bi. Anase we de nyame aka. Nti ye hwe ya enye yie.
Enkomo bi koso. I have seen say enkomo na koso amepo no kra ye ya abo awie. Se poni nya bo wie dia ye ho hwe a sa na wo sisi.
Na se pona ntimi amo anwia.
Pona ntimi amo anwia. Ene ne ebeja ato ba still na de ye hu ne de sa na ebi hu no. Tia na de sa na ti.
Asama wo kan de.
Emodu pa. Emodu pa. But this is ahead of us.
No.
Say how they starting no. It's ahead of us as a country. You know ebedru ba bi no the oil premise, the oil pay to me, the oil campaign, the oil ye ne nyina no. Beba be ye dem asem. Beba bi obi ne yere ne man na dofo nkomo. Champagne e betu ne dem MP abonten. Se enya wura de mahu no na de meka no ejiniti a obi aha no. Political party bi enyi ha no se de mahu no start yi ni tina angel for kofa roja video we eba abonten se prophet roja bekan enya unity ha ho enko campaign ha ho for sika to no
de nyame aka ne no ane
ha ho na etwan be 16 years and na be sika no wakọ akofa dia baby because ebe jinsemu.
And I'll say it will be for the good of the country.
It will be for the good of the country for sure.
Abusia yane as usual say wa winim se meka se akofa Roger City International bafi ha enti yane Prophet LD Roger ene ebon komo ena no pay de odi abebo mu de age mensem minim se also age wonsem bi ena no pay minim se Ghana fo nu
Inti sama ekoso enono na menu ka say so no in simbi ababe tuja in regards with John Dramani Mahama according to former Adenta MP or party say bibia Mahama be bia enye MP before fe because of hatred inti somebody tuja babaka ebeto aso
President na yenyan he is an experienced president obia waba he served under a president for 3.5 years as vice. and obe serve 6 months as president. And okoye osanko election. Eko wini be serve 4 years. And oko opposition 8 years. And our son Babem. This is a huge endorsement by the Ghanaian people. Because on my trail, you guys tried to paint him, to rebrand him in a manner. Ghanaians scratching dia no mubuefu. But he took his time, rebranded himself, and made sure say your lies caught up with you. And then Bissau said, what was the sins of President Mahama before the 2016 election? In Myanmar, Modiswano, say wako to hotel was in Japan, was Dubai, and wako to ship, all kinds of things you said. You couldn't prove 8 years, not a dime. Some cook and boo story about Airbus at the Betareno. He was whitewashed clean by the OSP. And then this is the man we are describing here. Ghanaians have endorsed him. And they feel say looking forward and going forward. Among all these number 5 people you people are putting out there, he still stands tall. And they want to give him another opportunity. I have spoken to people, several hundreds of people. Some have called me since I made that statement on this platform. I'm afraid, a lot of youth organizations. You can't support it. I'm telling you the truth. I tell you no lie. They say, Opa, you go feel bored and best. That time will come. Sabi Makato said we'll test the law.
Yeah, you've said
I said it.
You still stand by so we will test the law.
They say we will test the law. It's a constitution, but no what Koti the constitution doesn't permit. Yes. We will see when the time comes. Your corner constitution they say yes. But until then, we will work hard towards this agenda to ensure, say, what the people want, we present it to them. Because we were in this country, we left this country in your hands. It took us 30 years backward. 30 years backward, destroyed everything that looks like hope in this country. Daniel Kufuor's regime. And now your finance minister has run away, a fugitive of the law. Your friend of crab, you are not a continimba. Look at the number of cases we have around. And cumulatively, no school for so keke, or school correct a juma. National service. Look at the kind of money we are discussing. To me, see schools, to me, see hospitals. To me, you know, individuals stole this money under your nostrils.
Allegedly, they are standing trial.
I hear you, Matty. Yes. Allegedly. And you know, the Ghanaian people, they can see hope. Mahama is the hope. He's the hope. He's the hope for Mother Ghana. It's not a fluke. Do you understand? That's why I gave you the antecedents. Our experience. Experiment. You are not coming to experiment. Because all the people who have shown up for that experiment, you know, we've seen their handiwork. Dr. Baumia, we saw him. We saw everything he did.
Now, so we didn't end this in some one call for.
I know you was that one is not your business. Okay. You can't see any Crawford. Okay. But until Mahama tested Lord and I say Mahama who will fall on the others. Yes. But no two ways about that. He is the hope for Ghana, Mother Ghana, because the longevity will help us. It will help us establish most of the policies now. You see, the Lee Kuan Yews, they needed long-term
planning. Yeah, 4 years. Oko enim kakra. Now Nana Akufo-Addo type. They will take you backward. Once our video be young boys, Kolabi to America, really. Okay, we saw that thing. Oje Baton, Obia called a name now, no design. When it came out in 2016 or 2017, now you did grow. We thought it was some, God was talking to us through that video, but we didn't see it. And the dear America, and I know Akufo-Addo is the best, and now I say he will pray watch it. I do so, and now then, here we are. It's a crap. We now people like Miracles, they can almost obey me a pie. Say two obey me a cardio. Nobody's going to do anything unlawful. We won't.
You test the
law.
We
will test the law. If the law gives the opportunity, and we will speak to Ghanaians. And yes, we just test the law. And we'll give them a reason why we think if the law permits for President Mahama to continue, he is the right person to lead this country, to direct the country, to put us on that pedestal.